Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. Today we have the story of the VP of HR who is clearly power tripping and asking OP to keep their medically necessary service dog at home instead of bringing it into the office because the dog is quote-unquote too small. It's honestly ridiculous. The only complaint that I have about this is that OP did not pay the talc tax and didn't post any of pictures of their dogs. I do hope that you enjoyed this story. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Anyways, on to the story. My VP of HR says that my service dog is too small. I work for a smallish company, about 80 people. I have epilepsy and I have a seizure alert dog. She can detect when I'm about to have a seizure, which helps me get somewhere safe. She's alerted when I'm on the stairs, so I know to sit down immediately, or if I'm walking along a busy road, I can move off to the side. She's very good at what she does. Usually, I get a 2 or 3 minute warning and can ask for help or preemptively call someone like my husband. She'll also find a person and direct them to my medical alert bracelet if I'm unable to tell someone what's happening ahead of time. Here's the problem. She's a smaller dog. She's a 20-pound mutt. Since she doesn't provide mobility assistance of any kind, she also doesn't wear a full harness like a seeing eye dog would. She walks on a standard collar and leash though, and she does have a fabric vest which says service dog in large letters, so if someone does see her when she's looking for assistance, it's pretty obvious that they should follow her. Recently, we hired a new VP of HR. This person says that they do not believe that my dog is a real medical dog and not just an emotional support animal or a pet that I want to bring to work. They say that she's too small and she doesn't wear real medical equipment. Alison, I paid literal thousands of dollars for this dog and her training. She has saved my life with her alert on more than one occasion. She's also given me back freedom that I didn't have before because I was unable to go anywhere alone. The VP of HR has no complaint about her behavior. She walks calmly beside me or rests under my desk during the day. She doesn't bark, and the only time that I take her out for a bathroom break is when I'm on lunch. Nobody in the office has said anything that I know of. This person simply says that they've never heard of a dog that does this type of work, and they've never seen a small service dog, so therefore I must be lying. I've provided paperwork from the training organization and my medical team, and they say that you can print papers like that off the internet. I went to the CEO, the VP of HR's boss, because if I don't have my dog, I can't go to work, and they said that this was out of their area of expertise, but couldn't I quote-unquote just get a bigger dog? I guess so that it's obvious that they're working dogs. I'm not really sure what to do from here. Other than this particular incident, I love my job and I'd like to keep working here. I've been stewing about this all weekend and I despise your HR person with a fiery heart. I'm going to guess that since you're at a smallish company, your HR person might not be a highly trained in HR. That's not uncommon at small companies, and it's the only explanation I have for why they're unaware of how the Americans with Disabilities Act works, and why they don't know that they can't just decide that your medical accommodation isn't real or that your medical alert dog isn't big enough. If they'd be fine with a bigger dog, they are acknowledging that there's no reasonable work cause to deny you the ability to have your dog there. They just don't believe you and won't accept your evidence because, I don't know, ignorance I guess? But the law doesn't let them do that. You have a medically necessary accommodation and the documentations that accompany it. It sounds like your HR person might have a particular agenda regarding emotional support animals, even though your dog isn't one, and she's taking it out on you. And or she's profoundly deficient in critical thinking. In any case, since you've already escalated to your CEO and got to nowhere, I'd do 3 things. 1. Contact an employment lawyer right away. They can either contact your employer on your behalf and explain your company's legal obligation, or they can advise you from behind the scenes, depending on what the two of you decide is the best approach. This doesn't need to be adversarial if you don't want it to be. If you let your lawyer know that you want to remain on good terms if at all possible, they can frame the approach accordingly. 2. Contact the training organization that provided your dog. tell them what's going on, and see if they can help. It's possible that receiving a certified letter from them attesting to your dog's medical necessity would get through to your loon of a HR person. And 3. If your boss is a reasonable person and you think would be on your side, let her know what's going on and how alarmed you are to be accused of forging medical paperwork. See if they're willing to intervene on your behalf. Do all of these. If you're only doing one, do the lawyer. You need someone advocating for you legally and ensuring that your rights are protected. I have an update to you, and it's mostly positive. My meeting with the employment lawyer went well. Like everyone agreed, this was a fairly cut and dry thing where my dog absolutely should be allowed. We started by going the friendly route. My lawyer provided the language for me to attempt to address this myself in a more quote-unquote official way. That went predictably nowhere. The VP of HR doubled down on her stance that I needed to have a real service dog, or I could come to the office without my dog. As an aside, I do work from home most of the time, and there's no formal requirement that any of us go into the office. Even before COVID, I supported our national sales team, and most of us were remote for a significant portion of our jobs. That being said, I do like to go in every once in a while. It's less of an issue with the pandemic since we've halted almost all in-person activities, but once we finally get things under control for real, we do have team outings that I'd like to attend. Plus, it's nice to get actual FaceTime with my boss. Anyway, I let my direct supervisor know that HR was continuing to push back on this, and she, my boss, attempted to plead my case, thinking that if it came from a director-level employee, maybe it would hold more weight. HR shut that down as well, since, according to her, sales directors don't understand the ADA like HR does. My boss then told me that if I didn't already have plans to take a more aggressive approach with my lawyer, she would be doing it on my behalf since this was getting ridiculous. My lawyer sent a letter to my boss, HR, and the CEO asking for a response in 48 hours before they push further. Nobody responded. My boss deliberately did not respond. HR and the CEO ignored it, didn't notice it. The world would never know. We then pushed the letter to the company's board, and things happened very quickly from there, although I'm unfortunately out of the loop on the details. What I do know is that the CEO claimed he misunderstood what I was saying when I asked him, and of course he supported me and my dog coming into the office. It wasn't a misunderstanding, it was definitely incompetence, but that's fine. I'm not going to fight that battle. HR quietly underwent a restructuring. Our VP quote-unquote left for other opportunities last week with no other comment. We're pretty sure she was pushed out. Although we are a smaller company, we do hold a sizable government contract, and an ADA lawsuit would go against the main service we provide. Our board was very interested in making sure we don't do anything to jeopardize that contract. I do wish the board and CEO had taken a firmer stance and admitted to the error while publicly committing to make sure any and all employees felt welcome, but they did reach out and apologize to me personally, so I'll let that go. All in all, our terrible HR is gone. My boss was as supportive as she could have been and went to bat for me several times, and once the office is fully open, my dog and I will be able to go to the office as needed. Josie, the dog in question, received lots of pets and loving at the request of the commenters and continues to be a very good girl. Dilbert, the pit mix mentioned a couple of times in the comments, is disappointed that he didn't get to show his complete lack of service skills, but he's happy to stay at home and continue to eat everything regardless of if it's actually food or not. I cannot thank you and the commenters enough. Not only was your advice spot on, but the support meant a lot for me and gave me the push that I needed to stand up for myself. So guys, what did you think about this? Honestly, it boils my blood. The sheer amount of unqualified people here. Like, how on earth did this individual get to being the vice president of HR without understanding how Disability Act works? Like, what? And also, I hated when the CEO claimed ignorance. This happens a lot in real life, and I just wish people in power would take more accountability and not turn the other way, you know? But I am so happy that OP continues to live a happy life and that they are able to go back into the office. Anyways, I do hope that you enjoyed this story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.